Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Poultry Network Podcast. My name's Tom Willings.
I'm Tom Woolman.
It's a bit of a different episode this week, Tom. In end of the week in late June, bit of a heat wave. We're both sat here sort of struggling with the high temperatures, but we couldn't not record because it's been a week full of pretty significant news. The last sort of 10 days have felt like some significant changes afoot in the poultry industry.
Yeah. So we've very recently had the news that that Hook2Sisters, the 50-50 joint venture between PD Hook and with 2Sisters, is being sold to the Boparan Private Office, which is effectively 2Sisters owner, which means that that Ranjit Singh will get control over all of the broiler supply chain, and he's also buying a significant proportion of the breeders and hatcheries estates as well, leaving the Hooks with a business that's going to be smaller, but continuing to focus on the independent market. So I thought, for those that don't know about Hook2Sisters, I thought I might just give a little bit of a potted history of how it formed. It formed in 2006, really as a very simple and practical arrangement between 2Sisters and PD Hook. It gave PD Hook a market for their chicks, a bit more of a guaranteed market for their chicks, and it gave 2Sisters a bit of guaranteed supply in terms of broilers coming into their plants. So both businesses were growing and have acquired quite a few businesses over the years. 2Sisters only started in 1993. PD Hook was quite a few years before that. But they both acquired Premier Poultry in 2000, Lloyd Maunder 2008, Vion in 2013, and usually with these acquisitions, 2Sisters would take over the running of the processing factories, and PD Hook would look after the agricultural side of things. The farms, the hatcheries, etc. 2Sisters has always, taken on new businesses. People can remember they've taken on various different businesses: Fox's Biscuits, Matthew Walker Christmas Puddings, pizzas, restaurants, all sorts of things.
I was going to say it's the quick serve restaurants. I remember. I'm sure did they own Harry Ramsden's for a time, or Giraffe, or something like that?
So, certainly Giraffe. Yes, Some of those businesses they've sold on, and there was certainly a move to focus more on the core poultry business. So in recent times, they acquired Banham Poultry. Although this is the first example of where Boparan family ran the entirety of the Banham business. Banham is an integrated business with feed and with hatcheries, etc. So yes, and of course, since the Vion acquisition, there's been the creation of 2 Agriculture, which is a feed milling company providing feed, and that's been pretty successful since it was started. The Boparans hadn't run feed mills before, but they've made a good go of that, and only recently they've expanded further and acquired 2 further mills: Burston in Norfolk and Radstock down in Somerset. So really, up until this stage, it's been one of growth, and one that's suited both companies. But yeah, I think with obviously with some of the changes that are going on at the moment in terms of the industry, there's quite a few big structural changes. The change in the stocking density is a factor that's caused an awful lot of businesses to have to reevaluate what they're doing. And so it's not necessarily unsurprising in this current environment that businesses are choosing a different strategy and to relook at their structure. I guess what I was going to say really is I don't think at the moment it's fair to speculate at all in terms of what's going on, what the future will look like, because there's an awful lot of people
lived through one of these mergers, haven't you, or one of the changes like this.
There'll be an awful lot of people working for businesses that are wake up one day and find out that their position is changing, and so a lot of that detail will be getting worked out. it can be an exciting time, depending on where you are. It opens new doors. We've effectively created a new agricultural business in the UK. That doesn't happen very often, certainly not at that scale. So I think it'll be an interesting one to keep our eye on, but I think we need to let the dust settle for now. But interestingly, it's not the only merger and acquisition that's going on at the moment, is it? There's been quite a bit of action in the egg sector as well, hasn't there, Tom?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I think, in truth, they possibly pale by comparison to the scale of that in the meat sector. But there have been several moves in the course of the last fortnight or so that have been announced. I think the first one chronologically that was announced was Noble's acquisition of Just Egg. Next one, we've got Hardeman Group acquiring Bumblehole.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a large Dutch integrated business, bringing their kind of behemoth business model to UK shores, and Bumblehole, one of the most established names in UK processing.
I know Bumblehole from my breeder days, certainly, yeah.
Been going for a very, very long period of time, great connections with customers, and so much of the UK egg industry have been focused on trying to promote British beyond just fresh shell egg and in processing. And I think that's an enormously significant change in the world of egg. And then that was followed pretty quickly by the Griffiths family announcement of a joint venture with French business Euroden. This is all around going beyond just fresh shell egg, and arguably, I'm sure for a lot of egg industry guys in the UK, they'll be thinking, cost of production, competition, making a defensive play with customers. I rather think I have as much as I can see those concerns, I think there's got to be opportunity here, because you look at the markets that these European businesses are driving, and the consumption there is vastly in excess of what we are eating. That for me is the handbrake, and we've got very, very little to show for all of the great work that the British Egg Industry Council and the collection of egg industry businesses have invested their time and money in sort of trying to lift the limits, as the BEIC would do, so to dispel the health myths, to talk about the nutritional benefits, etc. But we're kind of languishing in the bottom of the field when it comes to just how many eggs we eat in comparison with our European neighbours.
It's interesting. I spend quite a bit of time travelling the country, and so I'm always on the lookout for food on the go that's quick and convenient and healthy, and I can see huge opportunities there in terms of eggs.
Okay, I've got a great little anecdote for you. I was in Holland last Friday, and got to the airport, desperate for something to eat. I know 2 or 3 o'clock. My mood is pretty dark, let me tell you, when I'm hungry. Went into the nearest Albert Heijn and I grabbed a wrap. My Dutch is dreadful, but I knew the words on the front of the packet and they were pretty prominent. The only thing it said, smoked salmon. I won't attempt the Dutch accent, but it said smoked salmon. Didn't think of it, that hungry. I hoovered it down. Halfway through the wrap, I realised that the wrap wasn't actually a wrap. It was an omelette. It was egg based. And that the salmon inside the wrap wasn't alone. It wasn't, soft cheese or whatever else. It was egg mayonnaise. And I thought, this is where we're going wrong as an industry. We talk about growing meal occasions and ramping up all of the positive health benefits of eating egg. We just need to be doing it by stealth. Just feed people more eggs when they think they're buying salmon, when they think they're buying bread, feed them eggs. If we do that, we'll be all right, won't we?
So you're saying change the language on the packaging. That's what you're saying.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm saying, other than there is ingenuity in these businesses. They have found ways to displace, other ingredients in everyday convenience food that mean that we don't need the public to make wholesale shifts in their diet to eat more eggs. We just need to find something that functionally an egg can match, and it's an incredibly versatile thing, and we'll see our market grow accordingly. That's my little soapbox.
Yeah,
anyway.
so it's so exciting times for some of the businesses involved in these mergers and acquisitions going forward.
I think so. So for us, the call is we need to get some of these guys on with us, and let's talk about them in more detail. So meat sector changes, egg sector changes. There's other moving parts as well. The RSPCA rumbles on as a discussion point in the egg industry. We've got guys from the RSPCA joining us in weeks ahead. We've talked a lot today about egg and poultry meat. We haven't touched on turkey. I realise that's poultry meat as well, but a sector all of its own. We've got Paul Kelly coming up. There's no better advocate or energizer for our industry than Paul. So look forward to talking to him. So it's going to be an exciting few weeks ahead. Couple of dates for the diary, referencing RSPCA there. I think on the 1st of July, there's a webinar for their members, again, talking about their changes in their laying hen standards. And then I think a week later, the 8th of July, they're down at the West Country Layers Association event, face-to-face, meeting their audience, as it were. And then, of course,
that's in Cullompton, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. The rugby club there at Cullompton. 8th of July. And then not too far down the line, I guess you and I are going to be involved in the Poultry Network live conference at Harper Adams again. So maybe we'll record there.
Yeah. No, that'll definitely be a date for the diary, 4th of September. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, because it's nice. It's particularly nice to have events where the egg sector and the meat sector come together and can discuss common ground and common themes. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Good. Nice to chat to you, Tom.
Likewise. Until next week, and everybody else, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you.